So my mother is a Jewish New Yorker woman who, when I graduated college, her entire job was to be a yenta and set me up with every man that existed in New York City. Laura, I met a woman at the gynecologist's office, and her son, he's beautiful, he went to Harvard, he comes from a good family. And all the time I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go on these dates. You know, they're always like short and stubby and fat with perfect hands. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want to go. I just don't want to go. You never know. Maybe he has friends. I'm like, so I go on this. So she sets me up with this. And so finally, you don't argue with her anymore. You just go, right? So I stopped meeting them. I stopped talking to them on the phone. I just go because that's what you do. And so I knew. So I was set up with a man by my mother, Scott, brown hair, Jewish, of course, and through David Barron. Okay, this is all I know about him. So I show up to this restaurant, lounge place, and I say to the hostess, "Hi, I'm meeting someone." And just then, this beautiful man walks in the door, and I'm thinking, "Thank you, Mom, finally." He's like, "Oh, I'm meeting someone." I'm like, "Oh, are you Scott?" He's like, "No, that's my brother." I'm like, "Wait, you invited your brother on a blind date, but okay." So I start walking to the table, and I start looking at him. I'm like, "You look very familiar. How do I know you?" It's Chris Evans. I don't know. So Captain America, like, you know, Harvard hottie from Nanny Diaries. He's a very hottest 30 under 30 actor, okay? Beautiful, beautiful actor man. Okay, I'm like, fine, this is not bad. You brought your brother, he's a hot actor. We get to the table, and there's Scott, and then a friend. At this point, I'm like very pissed off. I'm like, you invited your brother and a friend on a blind date. Like, I would have brought a friend, but fine. So we sit down. I'm ignoring Scott because I'm very angry at him. And I'm talking to the friend and the hot actor dude who's going on about, you know, oh, I'm in a movie. Oh, you're in a movie. I'm like, you know, I'm very cool. I have no idea who he is. Meanwhile, I'm like dying inside. And so he's like, just puts on these tortoiseshell glasses. Do I look nerdy? I'm trying out for a nerdy role. Like, no, you're not nerdy. You're a hot actor, man. People magazine. Like, are you kidding? So 20 minutes, we're talking, we're getting to know each other, the waitress comes over, flirting with him, haha, I'm on the inside, it's great. And so then 20 minutes goes by, and hot actor man goes, so how do you and Scott know each other? And at this point, I'm like, you invite your brother and a friend on a blind date, and you don't tell them who I am? Like, are you kidding? I'm like, oh, through David Barron. And I say this, and Scott goes, who's David Barron? And I look up, and in the doorway is a short, stubby, fat walking through, like, awkwardly looking around. I was like, oh my God, I'm at the wrong table. Then I stopped for a minute. I was like, who the hell did you think that I was? I've been here for 20 minutes. Who am I? Like, well, I came in with Harvard hottie dude, right? And so I guess he dates a lot of women, and I was deemed attractive enough. And I told them I was meeting Scott, so they thought, you know, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? I've been here for 20 minutes. And meanwhile, I don't want to go with short, stubby, fat. So they're like, oh, well, you have to go. This is a funny story. Fine. And they're like, if it's horrible, just tug on your ear, and we'll come and we'll save you. Fine. So I go over there. I'm at the wrong table. Funny. And he is not pleased. He starts yelling at me. It evolves into a point. Oh, I was aggressive because I asked him what he did for a living. I was like, honey, I was at the wrong table for 20 minutes. Obviously, I know nothing about you, so asking what you do for a living is not really that far-fetched. So I'm tugging on my ear. Please, come save me. Nothing. It literally devolves to the point where this boy leaves the restaurant, like leaves me, and I turn around, and the three of them are laughing. And I was like, what the hell? I've been tugged. They're like, I know that was the best thing I've ever watched. And Chris Evans, hot actor man, puts his arm around me. He's like, that's the best non-date I've ever been on. This is amazing. So I go home and I tell this whole story to my mother, and I'm like thinking, like, this is a ridiculous story. You will stop setting me up. And she goes, well, maybe he has some cute friends he can set you up